Hey girl, hey, today I'm actually going to be taking you behind the scenes of what it looks like to host a Whatnot show. If you don't know what Whatnot is, essentially it's a reselling auctioning platform where you can live sell different products depending on the category you're in. I sell in the movies category, so tonight I'm going to show you what it looks like to host a Whatnot show specifically for DVDs. Let's hop on into the video. I don't want to keep you here too long, and let's see how tonight goes. Welcome in, everybody. How are you doing tonight? First up, we have My Little Pony Pinkie Pie Special Day. If you're interested in that one, it is running. We have Barbie, Fairytopia, Mermania. If you're just joining, make sure to read over those show notes for me. Everything will be shipped out tomorrow. If you feel 6 is too much for something, make me an offer and we can always negotiate. That's always an option. Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is book 1, chapters 1 through 4. That is like new condition. The Wiggles Cold Spaghetti Western. That includes 13 Wiggly songs. We have Just My Luck. If you haven't seen this is a must watch. There's the front of that disc. We have another My Little Pony. This is Twinkle Wish Adventure. It still has the paper inserts if you're interested. And this is from 2009 if you're interested in years. We have a Nick Jr. This is Dora the Explorer, Big Sister Dora. This one is from 2005. That one is very lightly scratched. I have come across My Scenes, but not the Barbie series, no. And all the My Scenes that I've come across, I've sold. I didn't even know My Scene had a Barbie series, so I'll keep an eye out for it. We have another Dora. This is Animal Adventures, and this one is from 2006. It still has the paper inserts with the trivia adventure. For $3, we have Miracle. Okay, I wrote those down and I'll keep an eye out for them when I go thrifting. You're welcome. Just make sure to give me a follow so you can check back. Okay, and we're back, and this is actually after the Whatnot show again because the Insta360 Go, the volume was just going in and out, and I just did not like the audio when I was talking at the end because it was pretty long and I would not watch a video like that. So I'm here to refilm it and just talk about how the Whatnot show went and how I feel, and I did grab my journal and jot down some notes so that I won't ramble too far off. So hopefully you stick with me in case you're thinking about reselling specifically on Whatnot. So as you saw, I did bring in a grand total of $12. Now I have brung in way more than that, and I have also brung in way less than that. I always tell myself before a Whatnot show that I'm gonna make at least one sale. So if I make one sale, I'm satisfied. I know once that first sale goes through, then another will go through. That night it was 2 separate orders for one customer. Those were $6 runs. So I ran each DVD at $6. Nobody bid it against the person that requested that DVD. Typically I don't have too many people bid against anybody in my shows because I only average about 5 to 10 people in my show at a time. There is several people who have been doing Whatnot for much longer in the movie category who can average way more than that. I think the highest I've seen is about 50 people. I think I actually seen 90 today. So it is possible the more you're on there, the longer you go, the more shows you host. But my Whatnot shows have not been doing as great as they initially were, and I think that's for various reasons. Really, the month of April has been my most challenging month. I just had a lot going on in April, which I think reflected in Whatnot. For starters, I went on a cruise at the beginning of April. It was the 4th through the 11th, I believe, which also happened to be spring break. And then it was the week following Easter, if I'm not mistaken. And then after I went on that cruise that next week, I think I hosted one Whatnot show because I was still getting in the swing of things. And then the following week after that, which would have been the 3rd week in April, I actually went ahead and scheduled all of my shows out for the rest of the quarter up until June, and ended up getting sick on that Monday. So I had to cancel that show same day and then also cancel that Wednesday show. So I think that it just messed me up with the algorithm on Whatnot because Whatnot has a algorithm just like any other social media platform. So I really think that hindered me by doing that. And I also think with going on vacation and just taking time off on Whatnot in general, not putting my profile on vacation mode, I think impacted me as well. I don't necessarily have any proof to back that up, but that's just my personal thoughts. Aside from all of those little things, I also think where we're at right now currently and the time of year it is also plays some part in that. A lot of things are really expensive, so I feel like a lot of people aren't necessarily doing a lot of splurging and extra shopping. They're really trying to stick to a tight budget because everything is increasing. For instance, gas is really expensive right now. Even I'm not traveling to thrift stores that I normally would would, because I can't justify it for $4 worth of gas. So the things that I'm gonna do to try to pivot to hopefully get back to where I was when I first started this 3 months ago is trying different times and days. I also think that's what hindered me in a sense as well, because I was originally doing Monday and Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then right before April I was trying Tuesday and Thursday, which I think threw people off. But I'm just gonna go back to square one and try the different times again and different days as well, and then also try the different setups. So if you've seen in the video, my face is actually not shown on Whatnot. I have hosted 2 shows showing my face and it did fairly well, so I also want to play around with that. And just my setup in general, I would love to have bookshelves of DVDs behind me, but where I host my Whatnot shows at, that's currently not possible. But I think I have an idea of where I can move to make that possible, especially if I'm going to be showing my face on camera, and then also utilize all of my other reselling platforms. I really haven't been making the time for it as much as I need to be, so that's something that I'm trying to get into now that we're in May. And the biggest problem that I found with all of the other reselling platforms is that it just takes so long to list, and it's 4 reselling platforms that I'm on plus Whatnot. Now I don't really load anything into my shop on Whatnot. That's also something that I want to start doing, but specifically with Depop, Mercari, I don't really do Poshmark no more. But all of the selling platforms, if I list on one and it takes me 2 hours, I don't have time to set another 2 hours for each platform. I really need to find a good cross-listing app that'll help me cross-list once I get it listed all on one platform, which typically I list on eBay first and then move to the other platforms. And then also something that'll delist it or move it to the sold category once the item sells across all my platforms, because it is tedious going back to make sure I pull a product off of each platform once it's sold, because you don't want to sell it twice if you only have one. Been there, done that. It wasn't a bad experience, but I just hated to cancel the order. And I mentioned already that I scheduled all of my shows for the rest of the quarter. So my shows are currently scheduled to June. It just says to be determined. And typically I go on there the day before or the day of and update the show. But what I have noticed is that when I run those shows, Whatnot is not pushing my shows out. So people are not finding the shows. And then the people that are finding them are not staying in there or engaging or socializing. And then I noticed if I cancel the show and then turn around and start a new one, that those shows does a lot better. So I think for me, scheduling my show a day in advance or the day of, a couple of hours before, is a lot better. And that's what I was doing in the beginning. So I think I'm gonna go back to that. I was just trying to be on top of my stuff and make everything a little more efficient and be more intentional. But I think that's actually hindering me some as well. Yes, people are saving my shows, but the people that saving my shows are not even the people that's joining my shows. And like I said, I noticed that if I cancel a show and reschedule it right before I'm about to rehost it, it does a lot better. So I don't know what's going on there. For anybody else experience that, if you're a Whatnot seller and you've experienced that or haven't, let me know. So moving forward in Q3, I will not be doing that. Pre-scheduling them in advance just has not been working for me, and it's actually been doing more harm than good. As I already mentioned, my shows have not been doing well, so I have a lot of inventory sitting, and I don't like to have inventory sitting. So my plan to get rid of some of the DVDs that I have, that's not donating them to a thrift store, because I want to at least break even on what I spent. I want to do a yard sale and get rid of some things in the house, but also try to sell some DVDs there. I plan to list some as bundles on Facebook Marketplace and try to sell them there. And I like the idea of that and a yard sale, because I don't have to worry about any platform fees. And then also run bundles or lower prices on Whatnot if the other 2 options don't work. My main takeaway from this and my advice to you, if you're going through something similar in any capacity in any aspect of life, is pivot until you find what works. So you are not obligated to stay on one path. Anything is possible when you try. The only time it becomes impossible is when you don't. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up here because my camera is actually dying, and I think I talked long enough. If you have any questions about reselling or Whatnot in general, please let me know. If you would like to converse, go ahead and drop a comment down below. If you like videos like this, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe down below, hit that post notification bell so you don't miss when I post. And you already know, like always, I'll see you next time. Bye, and thanks for watching.